This is the ideal artifact user. You may not like this, but this is peak performance, especially for an individual that can slay a god. Welcome to the August Hail. I'm August and I want to help you find something great to read and experience. Today we're going to take a look at the fourth installment of the 9 superpower visual novel series. In its final episode, it is up to us and Kakeru to bring an end to this conflict, together with the girl that will deliver judgment upon God, our gothic lolita dress-wearing chuunibyou, Noa Yuuki. Today, we are going to take a look at 9, episode 4, Yuki Iro, Yuki Hana, Yuki Noato. Let me be clear here. Episode 4 is the final installment of the series, and thus I will be conducting this review with full knowledge of the prior episodes. Each of the volumes should be played in sequential order as each episode builds on top of each other to deliver that final climactic ending that is episode 4. And oh boy, what a peak climax! In a nutshell, the 9 series is a great, well-rounded visual novel series that combines a superpower mystery plot with a cast of lovable heroines, while also making use of its meta elements to deliver a fantastic, overarching story. And I urge you to check it out. If you are interested, I have video reviews of the prior 3 volumes of the series if you want to see my thoughts on those volumes and their respective heroines. This will be your final spoiler warning, and with that said, let's begin. 9 episode 4 begins with episode 3's cliffhanger ending, with Sofita addressing us, the reader. It is up to us and Kakeru to figure out what we need to do to defeat the biggest adversary to date. And here's where things get interesting, or should I say, interactive. 9 finally makes more deliberate use of its meta elements. We were already aware of the power of Overlord to be able to redo events and avoid tragic endings, but here we are directly involved with the narrative of 9 more than ever before, both good and bad, featuring a sequence that startled me to my core. Just gives me shivers just thinking about it. 9 really doesn't hold anything back regarding its usage of Overlord, using every trick in the book to attempt to pull out a victory. The details about the time-branching jumping tomfoolery jumps over my head at times, but I'm more concerned about how the hell Kakeru will get himself out of this mess. The man's been through a lot of bad endings, some of which shocked me. There's regular suffering, and then there's ReZero looping by death levels of suffering. And I think Kakeru is on that same level. The man needs a damn break. Regardless, Kakeru really comes through as a grown protagonist, accumulating the knowledge from the prior volumes as well as the traumas he's faced in his failures. With the usage of Overlord, Kakeru becomes more proactive, I say even aggressively proactive, in order to prevent his friends from dying. And let me remind you, he did all of this just so he can get closer to a girl in his class. But now he's genuinely doing this for the sake of those he cares about. Kakeru's resolve is displayed at great length in this final volume. He's not perfect though. He makes mistakes in his branch jumping shenanigans, and he gets pushed to the absolute limit where drastic times calls for drastic measures. His mental state demonstrates the severity of the situation and the desperation in his heart to take down his enemies. Speaking of, the antagonists really pulled out all the stops. With no logical rhyme or reason, some people just want to watch the world burn, and they performed perfectly, being as diabolical, psychotic, and sadistic as they could possibly be. On a more positive note, let's talk about our main heroine for this episode, Noa Yuuki. Besides being as much of a chuuni edgelord as Renya, we don't know much about Noa herself. No matter who she's around, she always has her guard up. But with such strong defenses and an offensive front, it only serves to highlight how weak she truly is inside. And it's that anguish within her that becomes the crux of her route. Noa and Kakeru's relationship is the best dynamic in all of 9's volumes in my opinion. They both share similar struggles of trauma and they become kindred spirits. And we take this time to learn more about Noa as a person. Funny enough, despite our branch jumping abilities, 9 makes it abundantly clear there's no cheating allowed. Throughout the route, they continue to understand one another in an equal partnership. Even as Kakeru attempts to take the brunt of the situation, Noa reels him back. Together they stand, not for saving one or the other, but as equals in their fight. It's humorous to think that back then, the only way for Noa to cooperate was through a fruity parfait. Now, I had complaints about how 9 mixes the narrative between its action plot and its romance narrative, but in Volume 4, 9 nails that combination. Noa's characterization is built into the main action, and overcoming her difficulties becomes a driving point. The two's development even connects into Kakeru's own insecurities and motivations. So in order to develop their inner characters, Kakeru has to continue to weather the storm and strategize for the girl he loves. Meanwhile, Noa takes the complete opposite approach by lying on a bed, eating potato chips, and playing Monster Hunter.
私のだらけっぷり。
なんつうか、だらけた格好に対して顔のこわばり方がすごい。
すでに罪悪感がすごい。
Noa can be a badass character with her Seigi no Mikata ideals, but what really sells her in my eyes is in her biggest display of Gap Moe, jaw-droppingly so. How they present her relaxed side is so effective. Given how stoic and serious she normally is, that contrast is incredibly powerful. They've already hinted at this through her interactions with cats, but her moments of childish sincerity is adorable.
あ、ちょっと動いちゃダメ。くすぐったい。
She even adopts a softer, gentler, and more affectionate voice when she's with Kakeru. And with her becoming more casual and easygoing, more of her cracks begin to show. Not the serious weaknesses, but the charmingly comedic ones. Ones that had me laughing my ass off. For such a composed character, it's that genuine smile of hers that makes her my favorite heroine in the 9 series. It's evident that the production quality leading up to this volume has been steadily increasing. But man, Palette did a fantastic job with this volume. More special transitions, more sequence effects, more sound effects, and even including interactivity with the reader. Even the H scenes, I was impressed by how much extra flair they added. The opening and ending sequences are fantastic as well. Compared to the series' first opening, they drastically improved, increasing in visual complexity and graphics. And it's also paired with the intensely catchy opening song, Dear My Waker. In addition, Dear My Waker's piano rendition is great to listen to and is very effective within the work. The track initially sounds meaningful and hopeful, but depending on the scene, it can also be melancholy and bittersweet. The best type of song for things to go horribly wrong. 9 Episode 4 is the grand finale of this multi-part series, and it sticks the landing. In an emotional rollercoaster of a ride, this volume concludes in an explosive, hype-packed, cathartic final battle, worthy of the chuunibyou fantasy references it makes. And while delivering on its superpower plotline, it also presents a great character progression of its spotlight heroine, as she displays her true self in her genuine expressions of happiness. I give 9 Episode 4 a 5 out of 5 with a seal of recommendation. If you are interested in my thoughts about the previous volumes, I have a playlist containing my reviews in the description down below. And as always, subscribe if you liked the video and want to see more. Check back every week for new content. For more of my thoughts, you can find me on Twitter at TheAugustHale. Check out some of my other anime visual novel reviews on my channel if you are interested.